we can bring the meeting of the building committee to order. And would you join me in a pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could you folks stay standing? Could we give a moment of silence to those folks in St. Bernardino? Yep. Bernardino. San Bernardino. Okay, thank you. Evening, John. Grab a chair. Come on over here, John. There's only one at this one. Okay, folks, have you had a chance to check out the minutes? And what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of November 2nd, 2015.
Okay, are there any corrections or additions? Okay, in that case, vote. All those in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. We accept the minutes. Okay, fairly simple agenda tonight. Updates on the MSBA board approval and a town meeting, public outreach, and then a public comment period, and then anything that comes up on new business, and then an adjournment. Anybody have any comments on those items? Okay. All right, let's begin. Chad, do you have anything on the MSBA board approval? What would you comment?
Yeah, I think this committee's really up to speed. For anybody in the audience or at home that is not
You need
fully
a
in the
microphone.
loop. Grab that microphone. So anybody that's not in the loop, we met with the MSBA on November 18th with the board of directors. Carver went in front of them as well as several other projects at their one of their, not quarterly, every other month meetings. It went very, very well. Michael, Dick, Liz presented to the committee. The feedback that was received was very positive. They praised Carver for their work during this process and for hitting all the deadlines on what was an aggressive schedule, and ultimately approved the project to proceed into schematic or design development. So approved the schematic design to proceed forward. So the also with that approval came the project scope and budget approval. So the numbers that we had been discussing for the past couple months are now locked in the MSBA's eyes. And since then, we have the project scope and budget agreement in our possession, and that is routing right now for signatures. With the favorable vote on Saturday, it will be sent back to the MSBA and fully executed, and we'll be off to the races.
Okay, thank you, Chad.
Just to add one thing.
Yep, comment.
We also received the next day, actually, the feedback from the Department of Education on our special education plan within our education plan, and no modifications are needed. So that's another milestone.
And it was a unanimous vote by the MSBA Board of Directors. So that was a huge step for us and for the town and for the school, the future of the school. Okay, a town meeting. Who would like to make a comment about town meeting? John.
I just wanted to ask an unrelated question, just before you get started, but it's related. Chad, could you just go through, so for the people at home, you know, obviously we're all hoping for wonderful things on Saturday, and so the vote goes through. Can you walk us through the dates of where you see, so when people know they can bring their kids to this new school? I think it might be.
Yes. So
several people have asked me that, so I just thought it might be just a general, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So the big date for us is December 12th, this coming Saturday, for the vote After the vote, we'll proceed into design development, which is really the first stage of design. That stage is scheduled to be completed in early March of 2016. Then there's an MSBA review and approval period. They'll have comments or respond to those comments. All the while, we'll be proceeding into what we call construction documents. The construction documents are broken out into 3 milestones. There's a 60% design, 90% design, and then 100%, which is the bid package. The 60% design will go through mid-May 2016. The 90% documents will be completed on July 1st, 2016. And the 100% design is currently scheduled to be completed on August 19th. After we hit 100% design, we can put the bid package out on the street. Because we are a public project, we follow under what's called a Chapter 149 procurement. So we'll need to solicit filed subs, so that's your electricians, plumbers, mechanicals, all those other trades. We'll put the package out on the street for a period of 3 weeks. When we get those bids back, and they are all pre-qualified, so when we get the bids back, we'll take the lowest pre-qualified bid from each trade and then publish those and put another bid back out in the street for the general contractors package. So all the general contractors will see the list of filed sub-bidders and what their bid prices are. From that, they can pick and choose and build their team, and the bid process for them lasts another 3 weeks. Once that 3 weeks is complete, we will issue a notice to proceed.
So where is that roughly in date times?
We're looking at early October of
For
2016.
for award?
Yep, for the award. So that's your general contractor, all your filed subs, your entire team is established at that point. Okay. From there, we'd roll right into site prep and foundations, take advantage of the late fall weather, get concrete hopefully placed before the first snowfall, and then steel would occur through that winter. Finishes, of course, would follow, exterior envelope, and ultimately we'd be looking at a summer 2018 completion. The completion date for the building itself will be a little bit earlier. We're looking at around mid-June. And then once the building itself is substantially complete, we'll be doing punch list activities, commissioning, the furniture and technology move-ins, and all the while the demolition of the existing building will be happening, and that'll make way for the new parking lots and play fields. The play fields themselves will probably be constructed and planted in the fall of 2018. But the students will be in the building on September 1 or whatever the date is. I'd imagine there'll probably be another 2 months for trees, grass, stuff like that, as you really don't want to be planting in the summertime or else it will die off.
So in round numbers, 2 years from this fall?
Yep.
This upcoming fall?
Correct.
So if we go through the vote Saturday in a positive way, when will we be looking at putting the shovel in the ground next fall? What time?
It'll
Mid-October?
be early October, early to mid-October. Yep.
Okay. All right. Very good.
And then roughly a little less than 2 years to build it.
Right.
That's good to go over that, so people can look forward to that and encourage them to vote.
Yep.
Positive. Okay. Anybody have town meeting?
Actually, a follow-on
Dan.
question to that, which might be important to people too, is
Sure.
so in regard to the bonding of the school, when would that start to kick in? So it might be good to let people know that we're a couple years away, even with this vote that's happening at town meeting. When would the impact of that start to hit the
Affect their taxes.
taxes? It's not going to be, so people should know that once they go to the polls and vote on Saturday, it's going to happen next year. You know, when realistically, when would that start to happen?
The full implementation of all the bonds for the project won't hit the taxpayers for 3 years from now. However, there will be, based upon cash flow, we will be doing what's called bond anticipation notes, where we will be doing some temporary borrowing and then probably roll that into 2 permanent financing pieces. But in essence, none of that will occur during this calendar year, or actually this fiscal year. That will all occur next fiscal year in 2017. And the other thing that I'll say to that is that to Dan's point also, is that you'll receive, the first year will be in essence, the first year that it hits will be about half the amount. Then year 2, which is 3 years from now, will be the full amount, and then when it ends, it'll end accordingly as well.
Okay.
It's a half a year.
Okay, very good. Any other questions that you might think the public might want to know? Anybody? No? Okay. Town meeting. Comments? Obviously, a guy that's been hanging around this project for 10 years like me is going to remember 488 to 14. Wasn't that it? It was 15 opposed to the CPA, but there was one less, so it was 14. So 488 folks voted positively for the school. That's pretty good. I mean, that says it seems, well, of course, our town meeting group, very much in favor. Now, does that transfer into an election? I'm always concerned. I've seen elections pass by as little as 6 votes. Remember, 6 votes in an election is not 6 votes. It's 3. If 3 people change their vote from no to yes, it's 3 people on a 6 differential. So what I'm saying is, to folks out there, your vote counts. Please get out and vote. Dan?
So on the vote, what percentage is actually needed to pass? You know, we had to have a 2/3 for town meeting to put it on the ballot, but what's required at
Simple majority.
simple majority? Okay,
Yep, majority.
so that's even more important that every vote counts.
Yes.
Yeah, we can't rest on
Right.
No.
success of the town meeting.
So if you saw my note out to the committee, I think we can win this. But it's for us to lose. If we don't get folks out Saturday, and I'm watching the weather, it's good weather. Problem with that is yard work. Take a break from your yard work and vote. That's what we need. We need to do on anything we can in the next 4 days to encourage our family, our neighbors, our friends, and even like me, I'm tapping people on the shoulder at Cumberland's, you know, and I'm saying, do you vote? You know, and tell them the story and lean on them. And
He does, I witnessed it many times.
I ran into a lady leaving here. She did an absentee ballot. She was a younger person, so I said, you better be voting for the school. You got little ones. Anyway, the town meeting, I thought went well. We had some debate. It got a little bit long on a couple of debate items, but the town meeting was a town meeting. And so anybody else have a comment? No? You guys were all there, so yeah. I guess I'm speaking for everybody then, huh? Okay.
I think John Cotter gave a good overview as to what happened from the previous votes to this one. And maybe, John, if you want to reemphasize that from your perspective as finance chair?
Yes, to everyone at home. What we talked about at town meeting was how the financial management of the town has changed drastically since the 2011 vote. We would raise and appropriate funds to put to services. We weren't putting enough money aside to take care of our infrastructure. If we had money left over from free cash, we would use that to pay some large equipment purchases or maybe make first-time payments on new leases. Basically, we weren't getting anything done. The prior management team looked at anything, any infrastructure improvements as a additional tax on taxpayers. If you wanted a new fire station, it was additional tax. If you wanted a new police station, it was additional tax. Since then, due to the work of a lot of people, the Town Building Study Committee and current management, we instituted financial policies. Now, money that gets raised and appropriated goes into stabilization funds. It goes towards planning for the future. We're now able to build a fire station under the levy limit, and unfortunately with the school project, like the last project, it's something that will be funded with a debt exclusion. But just wanted to emphasize that what happened in 2011, I would believe that town management heard the concerns of taxpayers, completely looked at the financials and how we plan going forward, and now we've got a 10-year plan. We're not just planning for 1 year out. We know roughly the next 5 years how much we have coming in approximately and how it will be divided up amongst town entities. So it's crucial that we follow this plan going forward. And I think that's a direct response to the feedback from taxpayers over the past few years.
Dick.
Thank you, John. Yep, Dan?
And I think another comment that's come up from, for clarification from people is that the term of the tax increase only goes along with the bond, and so once the bond's paid off, in any way we pay off the bond, could be other creative ways in the future, then that tax burden comes off, and I think that's important. A lot of people didn't understand whether this was permanent or temporary, so it is temporary for the life of the loan, and once the loan's paid off, then that burden goes away.
Heather? Oh, no, I'm waiting for the next one. I was just running through my head a 25-year bond, debt exclusion on this school, takes it down the road 25 years. We, at some point down that road, will have to be talking about the high school. And if we did something with the high school, it would have to be another 25-year or 30-year indebtedness. But this school, we are planning, has the life of a 60 to 75-year school. And it allows us to follow financial plans like John is referring to. It's a planned process through years. And it's not hit or miss. If we voted it down now and it was another 10 years, then what would we be doing? Bunching projects up and then overloading the town financially totally. So this just makes good sense. It's a good business deal at this time.
I think a good way to look at it is how far gone the elementary school really is from a physical plant stage. There's just no saving it. I don't think that's the case with the high school. I think the high school could I think you could look at a renovation before it's too late, and stop. If we plan properly and really look forward, like John mentioned, all this planning. And of course, you have other needs in town as well. But these things build community spirit, and I think it sends a huge message to the public at large how wonderful community it is, and I think people will want to live here, and will stay here, and the young people will stay. It's very important, Dick, to have that in the community, just because parents aren't going to stay there with that school. They can't. They can't. No. They simply can't send their kids to the school. So it's very important we see that. But I think, I'd refer to you, Dan, over there, when we would talk about the high school, you know more about it than I do. But I really do believe that there's great opportunity to rehab that, and at some point in the future, not costing us these numbers of a whole new build. There's still some life left in that school.
That was a well-built school. I was on board around, you can imagine, then. And I remember the high school, Plymouth South High School, was built at the exact same time. We had the chairman of our building committee and school committee was Irwin Washburn. He was a kind of an old farmer type. He wanted it done right. That's why we ended up with an auditorium that would house 700 and how many, Scott, people? 600 people. A lot of small towns don't have an auditorium that will house that many people. And so the building is a good, solid building. And it has a life of 60 years. And yes, there are a lot of things on the way that you have to do. But as you're saying, John, not
total annihilation. But Plymouth, the same time. 30. My granddaughter teaches there. This is her 3rd year there. She looks out the back window of her classroom, and they're building that new high school in Plymouth South. And when they get done, they're going to tear the one she's standing in down. 30 years old. That's not the way we've done things in Carver. And that's not what we're talking now.
I think it shows good management, good leadership, and I think it's important that people know that at home, that we really, on this committee, we really drilled down, and I think we'll do the same when it comes time to spruce up the high school, and but I don't think it's going to need a replace. I mean, Dave, you'd know better than I, but, you know, obviously there's a lot you can do with surfaces and roofs and windows and things that, so I think that's important. I think it's been a terrific experience, I think, for the town to really come together on this. It was really refreshing at town meeting to see just about everybody on the same page. It really was. It was very nice.
Yep.
As a follow-up to the middle high school, last year at town meeting, we did have town meeting authorize the replacement of the roof and the heating system tied in with an MSBA reimbursement, which application will go in for next year. Secondly, as we look at our financial management plan and our capital stabilization fund, is when we look to do renovations to the middle high school, it is very likely that a portion or a significant portion of that will be able to be fit in within the base, which doesn't exist right now. And I say that from the standpoint is once the fire station and the new fire station and the police station are paid off, that's going to leave some capacity within the capital stabilization. So when that happens in 20, 25, 30 years from now, we may be in a different financial position than we are at this point. The other thing that I want to say is with the ballot vote that we have on the 12th, there's been some confusion. The ballot vote on the 12th authorizes the Board of Selectmen to do the debt exclusion for a temporary time frame until the bonds are paid off tied into building the new school. The debt exclusion is not for the open space recreation component of the project. That has already been funded by Article 1. So the ballot vote, again, is for the structure of the building and the demolition of the existing building and also for the road improvements. That is what's specified in Article 2 of town meeting that passed by the overwhelming amount. When you do go to view the ballot question, it's very short because, again, it's only authorizing the selectmen to do the debt exclusion. The detail was in Article 2 that was approved at town meeting, which specifies the, in essence, $49 million project and what that $49 million is to be used for. So again, I just want to make sure that people understand that the Article 2 authorized the selectmen, first it appropriated the funding, $49 million, and authorized the Board of Selectmen to build the school. The ballot vote authorizes the Board of Selectmen to do the debt exclusion. That's what the two votes are for.
Okay.
So what will people see on the ballot? Just a yes is what they're,
Let me get the ballot question.
I think that's important, so they know what.
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes they're written, sometimes yes means no and no means yes, so, you
Can
know,
be
it
confusing.
doesn't hurt to just explain it, Dick, you know what I'm saying? Just to be sure.
Can be confusing, yep. We got a copy of the ballot. Ooh.
And are there any other unrelated questions on there?
There is not. The
right.
ballot question consists of one question and only one question with a yes or no answer. And question one, again, the only question on the ballot for Saturday, December 12th is, shall the town of Carver be allowed to exempt from the provisions of Proposition 2 1/2, so-called, the amounts required to pay for the bonds issued in order to construct a new Carver Elementary School on the existing school site located 85 Main Street in Carver, Mass., including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, which costs may include but not limited to the reconfiguration of the school site for related uses such as pedestrian pathways, parking, bus and other vehicular traffic routes, and the demolition of the existing school at the end of the project. That is the ballot question. This, again, refers back to the details in Article 2, which approved by town meeting. And again, this is for authorizing the selectmen to do a debt exclusion only to pay the bonds for the school when that debt has been paid off. The bond is reduced, and the taxpayers' tax bills are reduced accordingly in 25 years.
So what we want to see is people vote yes on that ballot question, correct?
That would support the answer, yes.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Any other comments? Okay.
Sorry, one more quick comment. And maybe I missed it, Michael, when you read that, but there's no dollar value in that with regards to what's being bonded.
That is correct, and just for a little background on that, this is the required ballot question that is MSBA requires us to use. There is no dollar value. There never has been a dollar value. You're not allowed to put a dollar value in there based upon MSBA's regulations. And more importantly, this was approved by bond counsel as the final language to be submitted. And part of why you don't put a dollar value in there is because you also don't know what the interest rate's going to be when you go to put this project out. We're running a conservative number, so we think that with our bond rating going up, hopefully, and we continuing to follow our financial management practices, we should actually hope to have a lower number when this goes out, and thereby reduce the numbers that we've been saying. But until the bonds are issued and accepted, you never know what the final dollar amount's going to be. But John, to answer your question, in the ballot question, there is no dollar amounts to that.
Thank you.
Those dollar amounts were in Article 2 that was passed at town meeting as a not-to-exceed number.
Heather went like that. Okay. Any other comments on the town meeting or the ballot? The ballot is a very important thing right now. Okay, the next item is public outreach. Anybody have any comment? Heather?
Speech.
So, I mean, first, I actually think it's, I wanted to actually thank some residents in town that really stood up and have taken the ball, and when it comes to holding signs, getting signs out there, getting banners out there, really spreading the word above and beyond. It's Adam Holmes, Melinda Silawada, Jim Hoffman, Sean Clancy, and Caroline Todd. And I'm saying their names because if you don't have a sign in your yard yet and you'd like one, they're who you get out to. If you would like to hold signs, they're who you need to reach out to. They are just spinning their wheels, doing the best that they can to spread the word in any way that they can. So right now, as far as public outreach goes, the ballot vote is December 12th, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the high school. If you'd like to hold signs, there's a session Friday morning. There's several sessions on December 12th. The more help that we can get, the better. So definitely circle back with those people. You can find them all on Facebook, or you can just click onto my page. If you're not on Facebook, you can shoot an email over to me. Anything else?
Okay. Anybody else? Any comments on outreach? Liz?
We do have quite a few regularly scheduled high school athletic events on Saturday. So I'm going to work with the coaches to have them pick up and drop off at the rear entrance of the school so as not to interfere with the voters.
Oh. Yeah, we've had, remember the year we had was it a bodybuilding contest at the
Something
school?
like that, yeah. So,
And the traffic all
Wait.
clashed.
no, but this is just regular youth recreation basketball and a few clubs. But
Yep.
no, I'm taking care of that so that they all pick up and drop off in the back like we do when we have an election day when school's in session. So
Okay, very good. Thank
take
you, Liz.
that
Yeah.
barrier away.
Okay. Any other comments?
I think I have one more.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know if everyone knows this because I did fill in some people. If you're anxious to know what the results are, you can be there at 6 o'clock to hear those results. I know a lot of people weren't sure about that. I know I'll be there. But if anyone can be there to really listen to those results as well. So I just want to share that with anybody who wants to be there.
And they will be fairly quick
Right.
because of the electronic machines. It's like within 15 minutes. So it will be at the high school gymnasium where all three precincts are. Okay? And so hopefully we'll have a good turnout.
Michael, have you seen any kind of like spike in, if you don't, maybe you can get back to me. Have you seen any kind of spike in registered voters over the past, say, 3 to 4 months?
What we've seen is I think we had about 60 absentee ballots already filled out, which I'm told is a larger amount than normal. I did not ask on the registration of the voters. But speaking of voting and public outreach, it's come to our attention that there have been signs placed on public property. And at advice of town council reviewing the town bylaws is anyone, pro or con, on any type of issue has the right to hold signs on public property while they're holding them. They have to hold them. They have to be with the sign, in essence. However, any signs that have been planted, if you will, and left on public property overnight or not occupied are technically illegal and may be removed by the town. There is also a town fee tied into our bylaws of $25 that any group who's holding signs or putting signs around town needs to file with the building department. That $25 is returned to those individuals at the completion of whatever the election or issue is, provided that all signs have been taken down on private property. As it relates to private property, people do have the right of free speech on their own property.
Thank you for checking on that. Okay. Liz? Yes?
I was speaking with Nancy Magnuson at the town clerk's office, and she said, she didn't give me a specific number, but up until the date that new registration closed, she was very, very busy. So there are new registrations. I don't have a number, but she was
no, but
busy.
that's a good positive note. Good, yep. Okay. Anything? The polls, yeah, that's very important. It's 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Not like the national elections, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's 6 p.m. the polls close Saturday. Okay? Everybody heard that. 8 to 6. Okay.
I have a question for,
Yep, Sarah, go.
I guess, for Heather or maybe Ruby. I know that we had talked about Winter Wonderland at the elementary school on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have parents or volunteers or doing anything there to remind families as they leave to head over to the high school?
Well, there is yes, they're actually doing some sign holding at the elementary school during that time window. So
Perfect.
that'll be a huge reminder.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, good. All right, we are at public comment period. Do we have any folks here for the public that would like to speak? We have a large group here tonight. So, okay. Thank you. How about any new business that we may need? Chad?
So while we've been hard at work with the MSBA and the town meeting and ballot process, in the background, the well process has also been moving along. The WS13 application, which is really the first major hurdle to get the new well constructed, was submitted, I believe it was early November. The DEP just got back to us and they've scheduled a site exam for December 16th. So we anticipate that at that site exam, they'll give us the go-ahead to conduct the pumping test. Once the pumping test is complete, we'll submit the second and final application. That's a WS15. That is the approval to construct the actual well itself. So That process is moving. Just want to make sure everyone's up to speed. We're a little bit ahead of schedule. So good news on that end.
How long is the pump test?
It's going to be, that was not in the DEP's letter, but it is, yeah. It's a 12-hour pump test.
So that's the 16th.
Nope, that'll just be the site exam,
Oh, okay.
the site visit with the DEP to make sure that they're okay with.
So we're
greenlighting the
gonna
pump
vote
test.
on the 12th. If it were some crazy thing, I'm calling it crazy, that didn't pass, then we would
Well,
cancel that.
what we're talking about is DEP's already, in essence, approved the well. This is the procedure process we have to go through.
Okay,
So we've already gone through
Right.
and done the evaluation and the water quality test of
so
the
we're
well.
moving in a positive direction.
That's correct. This is procedure, this is process.
Very, very good. Okay. Dan?
So you're probably leading into this, so when does this committee need to get back together again? Is it gonna be next week, Monday, Tuesday?
That I was gonna leave to get some suggestions from project managers. Chad, all the architects.
Right after the holidays.
I mean, we're not gonna have any new information from the architects until, I think they told us February, before we can actually take a look at anything. Right now, it's all process that we're going through, so the vote will happen. I've got documents that I need to have the board vote on Tuesday, and for the chairman to sign, plus the chairman of the school committee. I'll submit these next week. I'm sorry, the following week after next week, after the vote's taken. We'll be dealing with some internal stuff with MSBA. We'll have a project kickoff meeting. The architects are already working as we authorize them to move forward with accelerating the schedule, but as they told us at the last meeting, they're not gonna have anything new until February.
Yep. As far as new material to look at, they may need some feedback late January. So but I don't see any benefit to having this committee meet until. I
Do
would
we
say late
want to
January
set a
earliest.
tentative meeting that we could postpone till February if nothing came up?
Yeah.
We usually meet on the third Monday. That was what we were using in the past.
So January 18th is Martin Luther King Day, though?
It is.
Oh, is it?
There's
Okay.
no school. I don't know if how much that makes a difference for everyone. But then there's the 25th, if you want to do January 25th tentatively.
How's that sound, Chad?
Yep, that sounds
How
good.
about everybody else? January 25th as a tentative meeting,
That's a Monday.
okay? 2016, oh. All right,
Dick, I don't know if I'll be around,
okay, well,
but that's, don't hold up.
we need you to peek in now, once in a while, with a little of your background in,
No, absolutely. I just said
Instruction.
I'm gonna be
Yep.
traveling a good part of January.
yep, okay,
I will also
Happy to
not
say.
be here, but for John without me.
okay. All right, so we have no opposition to setting that up as a tentative meeting, so that's what we'll do. January 16th, 25th, 2016, our tentative next meeting, okay? All right, if we have no other business, then I would accept a motion to adjourn.
December 12th, Carver High School. 8 a.m. to
Saturday,
6
this
p.m.
Saturday, December 12th. Don't forget,
Motion seconded.
okay?
Moved, second, whatever, whoever.
All right, any discussion on our adjournment? Okay, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Okay, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks. A record. Well, this was a charge.